Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Mr.Skizamanops, and I'm back with another video. Finally, the Forced Element Podcast, episode number 6. I don't even know which one this is. We're going to find out, though, at the end. We're finally back. I'm going to do an update video, tell you guys what's been going on, the reason why I haven't been doing the YouTubes and stuff like that lately. And, yeah, so let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Alright, y'all, so this is what's been going on. Let me talk about the whole YouTube thing real quick. Reason why I've been lacking uploads, because I've been in the middle of trying to get a job. And I needed to stop just playing video games and doing my own thing and like thinking that if I put in like 1 or 2 applications that, oh, there we go, I put in 1 or 2 applications, now let me just sit on my ass for fucking 2 or 3 weeks and just see if they call me, right? Well, that kind of mentality is gone. I realized that I'm never going to get a job doing that. So, I stopped doing uploads. I'd stopped focused on video games for a small portion of time. I still am addicted to the video games. I still like playing. But I know that responsibility comes first. So, I've been grinding, focusing on getting a job, filling out applications, all that good shit. And then also, my girlfriend kind of told me, and we're going to talk about that too in a minute. She told me that, so my girlfriend, probably soon to be ex-girlfriend here pretty soon, and we will talk about that pretty soon. She told me that you're never going to get a job applying for 1 or 2 applications and just sitting and hoping that they're going to call you. And I go, yeah, I kind of know. I sort of realize that that's not working. So what I need to do is I need to fill out multiple applications, bunches of them, to increase my odds of actually getting something. And then after a few days or after about a week, if they still don't call you, actually physically show up, actually talk to the HR or the main boss and ask them about a follow-up on an application about potentially hiring me, you know, because I'm ready to work, I'm willing, let's get it going, you know. And so that's basically the mentality that I have to have, or at least you have to have, in order to try to get a job in 2026, because it's fucking difficult out here. We're trying to get some jobs and motherfuckers ain't calling. So a while back we went to the workforce center here in my town, and I did all the stuff on the computer, and then we saw a flyer there where this motel is having a job fair where they're looking for people to hire. So we went there, and I filled out an application, and they actually did an on-site interview with me. And I told them, yeah, I'm wanting to do, I applied for the housekeeping role because I don't really, all the other roles just didn't look interesting to me. I didn't really know. There was some guy sitting there with a chef's outfit on. There was some guy sitting there with like looked like a valet suit on. And then the lady sitting there with the housekeeping uniform on. So I applied for the housekeeping uniform just so, you know, hey, I could do something inside. I don't have to be like outside. Although I'm pretty sure all them jobs are inside jobs. But this was in the middle of February, mind you, and I knew that the winter time was not over, and it was not over. I didn't want to do anything outside. I don't know why I thought that there were jobs that you could do at a hotel outside. I'm sure there is, but that's beside the point. So they did the interview with me, and I was having high hopes that they were going to hire me. They go, okay, so we'll look in, you know, we'll see, we'll look, because I don't know how many people they applied for that role. But I waited a full 2 weeks hoping and praying that they were going to call me. And then I kept calling, and then after about 2 full weeks, because also they told me that they were going to do a background check on me. That's what it was. And I just so you know, I've never been to jail. I've been put in handcuffs 1 time in my life, and since when I was a teenager and I was like doing free running parkour up on fucking like McDonald's and shit like that in the middle of the night. Yeah, obviously that's illegal. people can't do that. So cops were called and I got put in handcuffs. Told them what I was doing. They were like, they took the handcuffs off and they were like, get the fuck out of here. Don't do this shit no more. I was like, all right, lesson learned. Not climbed on the fucking McDonald's in the middle of the night trying to do parkour off the shit. Mind you, I was by myself, so it looked very shady. Anyway, so I've never been to jail, never been booked, never been pulled over, none of that shit. So my background is squeaky fucking clean. I wasn't worried about anything coming back on that. But for some reason, they did a background check. I waited 2 full weeks. I didn't get an email from them. And I was like, all right, it's 2 full weeks. They haven't called me. They haven't gave me an email yet. What's going on with this shit? So I emailed them. I even tried to call them to find out what HR was going on with the hotel. Finally, I was able to get an email back from the lady who actually hired or who did the interview with me. And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but we decided to move on with a different candidate, or we didn't hire you for the role. So I sent them a middle finger emoji. And because why the fuck would you do a background check on me, and why the fuck would you make me wait 2 weeks to tell me that you're not going to hire me, and for me to pressure myself and present myself to you and ask, you know, hey, what's going on with this shit? Then you turn around and backstab me and tell me that, oh, well, we're not going to hire you now more. Why? Why? What's the purpose? Why? Because my handwriting wasn't good on the application? What, did I look like a fucking stoner when I was in there? Mind you, I was not dressed prepared for an interview for that day, so I did look a little shaky, but I told them what the fuck my shit was, and I told them what was going on. They still never hired me. I don't know why. Maybe because they thought I was too low class. Oh well, fuck them. So that shit right there pissed me off more than anything. Then I did my taxes and I finally got my tax money back. I got about $1,400, which really made me happy, which all that money got spent really fast within a week it was gone because there was so much shit that needed to be bought. I had stuff in the pond. I had bills I needed to pay and all that shit. And then I had to get more clothes because I barely have any fucking clothes. Anyway, so I remember when I was working at Target Distribution that I walked into a Dollar General store to go buy a phone card, and I had saw my old boss that I used to work with at Five Below. She got fired at Five Below when I was working there because she had tried to cover for another employee that was doing some shady shit, and that other employee got fired. Pretty sure I already explained this a couple years ago. There's videos somewhere on my channel. I'm sure you could find it if you really want to find out what that was about. But she got fired. I tried to get in there and be the boss of the store and be her replacement. Of course, the district manager was like, yeah, you don't have enough experience to do this. I got to find someone who has enough experience. Mind you, it was like almost a whole month before she even got a boss in there. And what had happened was, the lady that she hired actually had to go through 2 weeks of learning process to actually learn how to be the boss, to actually, be able to fill the role, be able to do them, fill the shoes of that particular role. And I was like, well, you already have an employee here that's willing to fucking do the job. You already have someone that's like wanting to learn how to actually do that. So why even bother trying to hire somebody else to do that? I don't know. I honestly think that the district manager was like a feminist kind of person. Like, I don't really know really what that means, being a feminist, but I'm pretty sure if I'm correct, that means that you're all for female leadership and you're not for, like, you don't really like men as like your leaders. Which I was like, okay, which I don't know that for sure. I can't really exactly pinpoint exactly, this is that kind of person, but the way that the store was ran, the way that I was basically fucked around. Mind you, I'm pretty sure there's a couple employees there that talked to me that didn't like me. that probably gave them a word like, hey, you don't want to hire him as a boss, because mind you, there were some times when I'd go in there reeking like weed, and I will be honest with you, I know that looks really bad. I never went in there reeking like weed in front of the district manager, so I'm pretty sure the district manager never knew. But some of the other employees that didn't really like me knew. And what's crazy about that is the place that I work at now, some of those same exact motherfuckers work at my same job that I work at now. They had quit that job and went to this job, or either they had already been working there. You know what? Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to work there for very long anyway, because the shit fucking sucks. Also, I didn't even get into that yet. I know I'm like going on and on and on about this shit, but I'm trying to make this as simple as you possibly can for you guys to understand. So we're leading back off to where I was talking about. At this current time, I'm looking for a job and I don't have one. And I went into Dollar General and I saw my old boss that I used to work with at Five Below. And I didn't, at the time I was working at Target Distribution, so I never said anything. But after I got fired from Target, I went in there and I was like, hey, I remember seeing, this lady that was in here. I don't want to say her name because, okay, I'm pretty sure she doesn't actually have her real name that she's telling people, because I overheard her the other day when I was at work saying like, oh yeah, my real name is this, this, and this is not actually Heidi. Her name apparently is her name, she goes by Heidi. I don't think that's her real name. I think it's a fake fucking name. I don't know how she's able to do that. Anyway. So I walked into Dollar General and I told the guy that was working there, I was like, hey, is Heidi work here? And he goes, no, she got transferred to another store on the other side of town. So I was like, all right. I was like, do you have her phone number? Can I call her? And I was like, yeah. So I went into Dollar General, talked to the guy. I was like, hey, it's Heidi here. Can I talk to her? She work here? And he goes, no, she works over there at the other store at the other side of town. And so I was like, all right, so do you got her number? Can I call her? Because I'm trying to find a job. I used to work with her before. And so I got her number. I called her. She actually answered the phone. I was not expecting her to answer. And I was like, hey, remember me? It's, you know. And then we started to talk. And she was like, yeah, I'm in desperate need for employees right now. Go ahead and get on the Dollar General careers and fill out an application. So I was like, all right. So I filled out the application, and mind you, she had, when I walked into the store and saw her in there, she had just got back from being out of work for like a week, being sick. And apparently she had got sick again and went on another week leave. I don't know how she's able to leave work for 2 full weeks like that and still keep her job. Guess the perks of being a fucking boss. Anyway, so I got talking with her and she says, all right, so fill out the application. So I filled out the application. Then like a week went by and I still never got a call. And I was like, hey, what's going on with this shit? And then I finally was able to figure out what was going on. They was like, oh yeah, we got it figured out. We found your application. We'll get it processed. And then you'll have to do your I-9 and all that shit. So I did all that stuff. Actually got in there. And then I found out that place actually pays every week. And at this time, I was so excited that I actually got another opportunity to get a job. Mind you, I've been putting applications out there and hoping and hoping and hoping to get some work coming in with no luck. At least with this, I can actually, push my way in there because I know the boss, I know the hiring boss, and she can help me get hired. I did really good work for her before she got fired at Five Below. So anyway, now that I'm working there, they tell me I'm getting paid $12.50 an hour, which is not a lot of money. It's like a little bit over minimum wage, or basically is minimum wage at this point in this economy. And then they told me that I get paid every single week. I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's good news to hear that. I can get a lot more money a lot more sooner. So once I finally got it paid the first time, I got paid $311. I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's great. But then my most recent paycheck was $236 for working for a week. Yeah. And I was like, well, I have a bill that costs more than $236. So I went to the bill place and paid the bill. Then I paid the minimum. I didn't pay the full amount. I'm still going to have to pay more on it next week when I get more money, just so I have enough money to left. Because if I would have paid the full amount, I'd have been left with $0.00. Well, shit, I still got to get gas. I still got to buy food. How am I supposed to eat for the next week? How am I supposed to get back and forth to work for the next week if I don't have fucking gas in my truck? So I was left with $70 after I paid the minimum bill, or the payment on the bill. And I was very, very upset about that. And I am still very, very upset about that. I am so fucking pissed off that this place pays so very little. Now, I got hired on as a part-time worker, so I assume that I'm getting paid part-time wages and getting part-time hours and stuff like that. I'm not working a full 8-hour shift. I'm only working there are some days I only work about 6 hours. There are some days I work 7 hours. There are some days when I work about 7.5 hours, maybe, which kind of goes aligned with how much I'm getting paid. It kind of makes sense. I'm not working that many hours and I'm not getting paid that much money. So I was like, yeah, this shit isn't going to work. I got to be doing more hours. I got to be getting paid more money. Also, in the middle of all this, because I had put so many applications out there trying to get a job so heavily, I didn't even know, but I applied for a Walmart distribution and they called me out of the fucking blue. I was like, damn, I had just started working this job. Now I got an opportunity to work at Walmart distribution and working the type of hours that allows me to get differential pay, meaning from 6 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 a.m. in the morning. That's a long fucking shift, and it's through a lot of the hours that you typically are sleeping. Well, most of the time you're sleeping on between hours of like 9 and 4, or 9 or 10 till 7 in the morning. I'm normally sleeping. Those are my sleeping hours, as normal people do. So I was like, I'll be getting paid $21 an hour plus differential pay. I was like, it's kind of what my cousin's doing. He's making a lot of money and there's a lot of good stuff happening for him. But to work those extreme hours, I just don't know if I can pull that off. I just don't know if I can do that, So, stupidly, I fucking denied it. I denied it. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to work those types of hours. That's a little extreme for me. Then I find myself trying to call them back a few days later to see if I can actually get that job again, because I'm not liking what I'm working at now. I'm not liking this shit. It sucks. I'm not getting paid, especially now that I'm barely making any money every week. Like, holy shit. I would be gladly to get paid every 2 weeks if I'm only getting paid $236 every single week. Like, what kind of shit is that? Anyway, so yesterday I applied for 10 different roles at Walmart. And then I also applied for the Home Depot Distribution Center. I've also applied for Home Depot Distribution back in 2025, last year, before I got Target Dispo. But then they never called me, so I still had a lot of my information saved on the website. So I just used my previous information and reapplied. Hopefully I can try to follow up on that, try to call them, find out what's going on with that. Because I would really love to work at another dispo. Getting paid every week and getting paid $21 an hour sounds amazing. I love it. I love getting those $740, $750 checks every single week. that really helped me out with a lot of stuff. It's just in the middle of all that, I had this fucking plumbing project I was working on. And now that I pretty much don't have any like major projects, home renovations that I'm going to be spending a fuck ton of money on doing, except for like a little small things here and there, like get a piece of panel in here and get some trim board there. I don't have no major expenses no more, except for this one thing that I do want very, very badly is I want to get a dirt bike. I want to get like a 150 or a 200cc dirt bike, whether it's a 4-stroke or a 2-stroke. My main dream bike is a 2-stroke, but it's getting very difficult to kind of find 2-strokes, and not only that, to get a really badass, really high quality dirt bike, especially one like that, it's going to cost you about $7,000 to $8,000 to $9,000, and I don't really have that kind of money. And I would love to actually make enough money to build up enough in my bank account to actually go through the bank and be like, hey, let me get one of your credit cards. Let me get this dirt bike on this credit card. Make your payments to the credit card every fucking week. And then I can actually build up my credit doing that. And then the ball gets to rolling. Next thing you know, I am eligible for a loan of 50 grand and all this other good shit. Now, I'm not saying I want to go that route, but hey, you're not really an American unless you're in debt. But I also don't want to be $50,000 in debt. I don't think that's a very good lifestyle or a healthy lifestyle to live, to have that amount of crazy debt. But I will put about a $10,000 debt on me if I could, simply because there's things that I want to get, and if I can't outright buy them because I don't have the money, or I just in general just don't feel like saving the money, I'd much rather go this route, build up credit, get in good with the bank, all that. It's all around a good thing, as long as I make sure to keep my job and make my payments. That is the only stipulation for building your credit. And it's possible. I just got to get a better paying job. I just got to get these things rolling. And the motivation to get it done is here. And I'm not going to give up on getting another good paying job. My end goal is to get another dispo job. And I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to pursue. And now if I get another opportunity to work at Walmart, and I get paid $14 an hour, and I can do 8-hour or longer shifts there, then absolutely I'm going to quit this job that I work at now. But I'm not going to quit until I get another opportunity to work at another place where it pays more. I told myself once I worked at Target, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the job that I'm going to stay at, I'm going to keep. But I started to noticing a little things here and there that people had been there for a long time and never got promoted and pushed to, you know, new things in the building. Also, I got fired before I can actually figure out a lot of that stuff anyway. So it is what it is. Hey, if they're going to be that fire happy at the place, I don't even want to be there anyway. Also, in the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking about quitting at Target Dispo and going to work for Walmart again because the hours were crazy. I didn't like getting there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and leaving until 2 a.m. That shit got old really quick, but I stuck it out because the pay was so good and I knew how good of a job that was. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. But hey, it is what it is. If I can figure out a new way to get another dispo job, I'm definitely going to do that. But let's go on into a new topic. Let's talk about the real sad news. Now, my dad. I've been living with my dad ever since about 2002, off and on. I've moved in with my mom a few times here and there throughout the years. But I realize living with my dad is the way to go, because ever since I was little, he's been basically doing pretty much everything for me, and we kind of work as a team now. You know, like I pay a lot of, I help pay some bills, I help get food in the house, and then I help buy a lot of different things. Of course, he has been pulling his weight and my weight for a long, long time now. And without really needing a job, of course, he's been on Social Security, and I know it looks bad on me when I sit there and I'm still living with my dad, even though I should be living on my own. I understand that, but that doesn't mean I don't have the mentality to get there. Like this kind of transitions to what I'm talking about because his health isn't exactly the best. Like ever since 2025, at some point in October or November-ish, I don't really remember. Actually, even before that, his health has been in a crazy decline for probably many, many years now. And it's getting to a point now where it looks like he's on a very slippery slope. And it's sad and it hurts me on a fucking very deep, deep level, almost to the point where I just don't know what to feel. I don't know what to think. Obviously, I want, like, all of the stuff that we've been through, all the shit that we went through in Colorado, all of the good stuff that he's done for me. And just, it feels like, you know, this is starting to come kind of to the end, you know, and I'm at a point in my life where I don't have a lot of stuff, you know, set up to where, you know, I can like pay my own rent. You know, obviously with my current job, I can't really do that. And I'm grinding and motivated now with all the recent stuff happening to get a better paying job and keep it and not fucking do something stupid and go into the break room at 1 a.m. when I only had an hour left of work and I could have just toughed out that hour of work and then I would have went home and had more than enough juice to drink all fucking night long if I wanted to. But because I made that decision, I fucked up and got fired. So learning from that, the next distribution job that I get, I don't know why I keep saying the full distribution and not just dispo. Makes more sense to say it like that. But yeah, I want to, I am going to get a better job and I am going to look for that dispo job just so I get enough money to pay and have some extra money to live. But going back to my dad's situation, so all the hospitals in my local area, only thing they want to do is keep you healthy enough so that way they can suck up all your insurance money. Just to the point where the insurance company will contact the hospital and be like, hey, guess what? We're not going to pay you guys anymore for him because we noticed that you guys are just sapping the money away without actually doing any, you know, hospital work to actually get him back to health again. So we have to go to Kansas City. I live in Kansas and I'm not that far away from Kansas City, about an hour drive away. So we have to drive to Kansas City to KU Med. And at least in KU Med, they do accept my dad's insurance, but they also have some good minds there and some people who actually want to actually get the person who was in that hospital back to health again and figure out exactly what's going on with a person's health. Because the other hospitals, they'll do tests and tests and tests, but we'll never really get any fully understanding of what's officially going on. And the last time my dad was in the hospital here in my local town, he was going back for like doctor's appointments and stuff. And the doctors were like, oh yeah, you need iron infusion. You don't have enough iron in your blood. We need to put an iron infusion in you. And my dad was like, hold up. That don't sound right at all because I eat plenty of foods that have plenty of iron. He says they think he has iron deficiency, and I don't think that's right because when he went up to KU Med just recently, they said his iron levels are good, that he doesn't need no iron fucking infusion. So it kind of makes me think that the doctors up here were actually trying to kill my dad. I don't know if that would have killed him or I don't know if that would have caused even more health problems for him, but all I know is giving somebody some medicine that they don't actually need that can potentially fuck you up even worse is not good. That's not a good doctor practice, it seems like. So we said, fuck them. We're going to go to somewhere where we actually think there's going to be some actual help. So they got him back up to health. They found out that he had what is known as rhino's virus or rhinovirus. I don't know what the fuck rhinovirus is, but apparently that's something that you can catch, but you can naturally get over it. There's no real medicine to actually get it. And I actually think I caught this shit too. About a month ago, I was feeling pretty fucking sick and not doing good. I lost my voice and shit like that. And that's kind of what happens when you get rhinovirus or rhinovirus is you lose your voice and it can become scratchy and it becomes like this and you sound like you've been smoking for fucking 50 years. But yeah, that happened. And so there were some other issues. I can't exactly remember. They said that he had issues with his heart. He had like AFib, an irregular heartbeat. And there was some other stuff that they were mentioning to him. Like they said that they found a spot in his lungs that could potentially be like cancerous, and like some lymph nodes in his kidney or something that had some traces of cancer or something in it. But then we thought, or well, we didn't think anything. We sat there and tried to get more information about that, and then they said, well, I think it's not cancerous, or they kind of diagnosed it to not being cancerous, or they were going to do a biopsy of it, but they ended up not doing a biopsy of it because his health isn't exactly up to the standards of where it needs to be to where they can actually do the biopsy. So they got him healthy enough to where he can go home. So he's at home, but now he's been having really major stomach problems. I've also been having a lot of major stomach problems too. I'm either eating the wrong foods or I've been eating too much. I've been getting like diarrhea and shit lately, which is not fucking normal. I don't know why I'm having these health issues, because I pride myself on being a healthy person. I try to eat the healthiest foods. I try to mix vegetables and shit like that with my diet, which I got to be honest with you, I haven't really been eating very many vegetables a lot lately. I need to start eating more green beans and carrots and shit like that. That would probably help my stomach out a lot, which I do have plans to make more nutritious meals. You know, fish and chickens and different stuff like that. But for him, he has he needs to be on like a good diet too for my dad, and like he's got doctor's appointments that are coming up that's going to probably, you know, that's going to more diagnose his problems and more figure out what kind of health regimen that he needs to be on to get his health back up to where it needs to be. Hopefully we can get it up to where it needs to be, to where he can start doing the more tests that he needs to actually go through to figure out the potential cancer that could be in his lungs or in his kidneys. Honestly, if they said that they think that there's cancer in his lungs, I wouldn't doubt it. And if they think there's cancer in his body somewhere, in his organs somewhere, I honestly don't doubt that either, because he's very sick all the time. Like last night, he said he'd been up all night with stomach problems, throwing up. He can't keep food down. And I was just in there looking at him. He's sleeping right now because, like I said, he'd been up all night feeling sick, and he needs rest. He needs to sleep. Sometimes his skin gets a white, pale look, as if all the color has been sapped out of his body, and that means white blood cells aren't working very well. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and give you doctor's advice about certain things in the human body, but it seems like white blood cells aren't doing what they're supposed to. Something is definitely wrong with some of his organs, I'm sure, with him throwing up and being sick and not being able to keep food down. And yeah, so he said he's going to go to the hospital today. He wants to get some rest before he goes to the hospital today. It's going to be a local area. He's not going to go to Kansas City for this, so he's just going to try to go somewhere here. But yeah, so I've been dealing with that shit, thinking that my dad is probably going to die this year. I hope that's not the fucking case, because he was talking about wanting to spend some money and get a metal detector like we had in Colorado, so we can go out to these different parks and places and do some metal detecting and getting out in the sun and doing some exercises, and, you know, in general, just getting out in the sun and health and getting healthy, you know, and getting exercise is the most important thing, because for a long time now, since last year at some point, my dad has been sitting in his bedroom, not really getting out, doing really very much, and it's very, very concerning, you know. He doesn't have the energy to get up and do stuff. Ever since he got back from the hospital most recently, he's been having some energy. He's been getting up and doing some stuff, but it hasn't been like work related. It's just been like put some logs on the fire, you know, do the dishes and do the laundry and fold the laundry and then little stuff like that. But work related stuff, there's not a whole lot of that going on. And I don't know. I mean, honestly, at this point, he really shouldn't be working anyway like that. But to see him work would mean he's in good health, you know, to see that, hey, he's got energy, he's thriving, he's good to go. He had a really big stomach problem. He had fluid. His stomach or his belly area was retaining fluid. They had to numb his stomach up and take fluid out from the outside, from the inside out, whatever. And they took like 2 liters of fluid out. And then now that he's back, his arms are almost skeleton-like. Like his skin is like, he has no muscles anymore. His skin is so like flabby, and his forearms look like I can almost see the fucking bone type skinny. But his belly area almost looks like it's retaining water again. I'm not saying it's retaining a lot of water, but it looks like it's starting the process of doing that again, which means they didn't really fix anything at KU Med. And if his health is still declining in the same state that it was before he fucking got there, like I said, it looks like this is a slippery slope for him. And this is horrible because a lot of his life, his dad is still alive, only barely still alive. Like at some point, I got a feeling like his dad will pass away, but it looks like he might too. And for the longest time, he was wanting inheritance money that he inherited from his great grandma and from my grandpa's dad and mom. They were still alive back in 2000 and 2001. And once they finally passed away, my grandpa went in there and like took a bunch of stuff, which he was inclined to do because it was inheritance. But then now that it's at a point where he's about to pass away, my grandpa, and now other members of the family are kind of in there and sort of like, oh, well, we're in first to get the inheritance money, and whatever's left, if we decide to give you any, we'll give you some. And it's just like, wow, you know, like we're straight up blood. I mean, so is the other portion of the family too, but it just very, very wrong that it seems like the mentality of one part of the family is like, oh, we get it, but you don't. Fuck you. And it's like, holy shit, you know, like I don't know if it's going to come down to that, but it seems like it's going to come down to that. And I wanted my dad to continue to be alive until, and I'm pretty sure, I mean, he's still alive now. He's not like dead, and we don't know 100% sure if like he's on the slippery slope of death yet. But it just seems that way, you know, like his health isn't any better. It's not getting any better. The doctors really can't seem to help. And it's like usually when your body starts doing that, it's checking itself out. It's like, you know, and it sucks because my grandpa's still alive. And I wish him to still continue to be alive for as long as he can. You know, I'm not wishing death upon anybody for any reason at all. I mean, it's a miracle that he's even still alive to this day, my grandpa, because holy shit, like he is a trooper. He is still going in 2026. Although, like I said, unfortunately, I think he might not last throughout this year. Although I could be wrong, you know, I could be wrong. He's been going this strong for this long. Who's to say that he can't go on for the rest of the year or into next year, you know? But, my dad's health doesn't look like it's going to have the same way. And, I'm at a point now where I'm don't make enough money to even pay a rent. And if my dad passes away, my ability to fucking live here might be shit out of luck. And I've dumped thousands and thousands of dollars into this house, into the upstairs area in the garage, into the main house. I mean, there's so much shit that we've done. And thankfully, the owner of this property is my sister on my dad's side of the family. And she was talking about if something were to happen to my dad, that she was wanting to get another renter, or someone else to rent the lower half of the house while I still stay up here. And I'm just like, well, if I don't have access to the main house, then what's the point of staying? Like, up here co alongside with the main house. There is no locking me out of the main house and having me just stay up here. Just because I have everything I need to live, bathroom, shower, and all that shit set up, don't mean nothing. There's probably going to be some times, well, also, I got to use the fucking laundry room. I don't have a washer and dryer up here. It's just a real big situation right now going on with all that. And as of right now, we currently live here with nobody intended to actually come and live here and replace my dad if he has to go live at a home or something somewhere where someone can keep an eye on him 24/7, because I can't actually do that all the time because I'm going to be working all the time. I got to go to work, I got to make the fucking money. And if he can't like maintain his own health and be able to be at a place by himself, then someone needs to either come in here and help him live and help support him, or he has to go somewhere else. And the way that my dad is, he'll never accept going anywhere to have someone take care of him, like at a hospice place or something like that. If you get what I'm saying, like, we're trying to get him to a point where he can get back on his feet and go metal detecting and get his health back together. But yeah, so I'm thinking about all of that stuff has been going on. And with the most recent shit that has been happening with my girlfriend, Jessica, it looks like I might not have a girlfriend within a week or so, or sooner, I don't know. Then again, it's a whole issue. She's allowing me to have access to her house when she's not there. She has a code on her door. Type in a code, unlocks the door. I'm not that fancy. I have a key. And she's like, if you want this relationship to continue, I'm going to need to get a key from you. So that way, if we can't live together, I've been with her for about 10 to 11 months, almost a year now. In April, it will officially be a year that we've been together. And she is like basically saying, if we can't live together, then I want to make both of I want to make both of our homes, make it seem like both of our homes are our homes. And I'm just like, oh, I kind of have an issue with that because, for one, I have a lot of expensive stuff in my apartment. All the stuff that she has in her apartment might be relatively expensive, but it ain't nothing that I give a fuck about. Like, I would never, and obviously, like, I'm not a kind of person that would ever get someone's trust, then betray their trust and go into their house and steal a bunch of shit. I would never do that, even if they did have something I wanted, because I'm a respectable kind of guy, and I just don't do that kind of shit to people that I love and respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a piece of shit. But for some reason in my mind, I'm very, very skeptical, and she wants a key to my place so that way it can seem like this is her home too. And my home, vice versa. Her home makes it feel like my home too. But then I'm like, well, I'm a very logical person. I had spent thousands and thousands of dollars developing this place to my liking. And I'm not saying that she would come in here and change that at all. But a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, we were talking about getting a queen size bed because I have a regular twin size. I got a small bed, and both of us to fit on there is kind of hard because she's a kind of heavier set gal, I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, we both agreed that we can go get a queen size mattress and make it more better and more comfortable for us over here. But then she found a fucking queen size bed from some guy who's trying to empty out a house so he can sell it or some shit. And this fucking thing is an automatic thing where the back end flows up and the front end flows up and all shit. And it's a heavy, heavy ass fucking frame, and you plug it into the wall. And I'm like, my whole life, I've never been a fan of shit like that. I'm a very traditional, grass-fed kind of guy, if that makes sense. All I want is a traditional box spring with a traditional mattress. Boom. Bed situation done. I don't want some heavy-ass fucking 100-pound fucking frame up here and plug it into the wall. Some memory foam mattress. Like, I'm not a fan of memory foam mattresses. I absolutely hate memory foam mattresses. I like the regular, traditional mattress. Regular shit. That's what I dig. That's what I like. And I'm not gonna like go back on that. That's what I like. That's what I stick to. That's what it is. So I told her, and we have an argument about that. I was like, yeah, I'm not putting this bed upstairs. For one, it's too heavy. I don't like memory foam. And she fucking got all fucking upset. Oh, you're not willing to change. You're not willing to do this. You're not willing to do that. It's like, well, no, I'm willing to change in the right circumstances. This isn't the right fucking circumstances. I don't want this fucking piece of shit bed up in my house, especially when you got it for free from God knows who else was sleeping on it, and who else knows what kind of diseases. Like, I'm a very conscious kind of person when it comes to, like, beds. I'm a very bed bug weary kind of guy. I don't want no bed bugs in my shit. When you get someone else's mattress, you never know what kind of shit you're bringing in from someone else's home into your home. And that's a big hell no for me. Like, no. If I'm going to get a new bed, it's going to be a brand new one. My bed was brand new when I bought it, and so if I'm going to replace it, I'm going to replace it with something that's equally as good as that or better. I'm not going to downgrade just to make things comfortable for one person. Fuck that. Especially in my own fucking place. This is my place. I want it to be the way I want it to be. And that's another that kind of goes into where, the difference between us. I pay all the amount of money that I've dumped in here. I paid for it. I didn't have no help for it. And the bills that I pay. I help pay. And I get them done. What I'm trying to say is I'm barely doing it, but I'm trying my best to pull my own weight around here. And until someone else can step in and help me out with that, that means this is my place, and then that place over there where you live is your place. There is no, oh, this is both of our places now all of a sudden because we're in a relationship. That shit don't work. You either have to help me pay bills, buy some groceries up in this motherfucker, or do something that contributes to my life and your life if you want to do this. And then maybe I'll think about giving you a key to my house. But I have too much expensive stuff in here to trust really anybody else other than my dad and myself. I have a $1,100 PC right here that I use all the time. I got some guns up on the wall right over there, as you can see, that I cannot afford to be stolen. Now, I do trust her in such a way where I don't think she would ever steal any of my shit. But also, I don't know why her intentions are so, like, she pushes herself into my life in such a way where it's like she's not even given permission to be pushed into my life in that way. But yet she's physically doing it on her own as if she's entitled to it. And I'm like, I've dealt with that this whole time. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. I'm just going to deal with it so that way I can still be in a relationship with this girl. But it's gotten to a point now where it's like, either you give me a key to your place or we're going to break up. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to give you a key to my place, so where do we go from here? I guess we're going to break up then. And then slowly but surely, I think we're going to start working towards getting, you know, where we both want to be at in life. I'm not willing to give her a key until she can prove to me that she can actually help, which she's got an amazing job. Her job is way better than anything that I can even get, even at a dispo job. She works for like a prison therapy place. I don't exactly know what her job title is, but she does like online therapy. Sometimes she does it at the actual site, but she does it for prisoners. She does it for prisoners, people who are in prison. And she makes like $31, $32 an hour. She makes a crazy amount of money. But she also lives on the other side of town where you have to pay $1,400 for rent every month. So there's like a give and take there. And she also has 4 kids, which she has been taking care of her entire life. And with obviously help from child support from her ex. But that's her thing and that's her problem. So that's where I'm at with that whole situation. I'm like, I go over to your house to help you clean the house because your house is a fucking mess pretty much all the time because your kids don't learn the responsibility to clean up after themselves. They just throw shit all over the fucking place. And honestly, I feel really bad for their kids later on in life when they actually have to be old enough to actually be responsible. Her oldest, that's now 15, is like wanting to end herself because of the stress of a bunch of different things. And if she's stressed out right now at 15, mind you, she has been on antidepressant medication. And my girlfriend thinks that the one thing that she can help her kid at without befriending or committing, you know, is the antidepressant medication. She thinks that stuff is helping her. And I agree with her dad that those medications are probably causing her to feel that way. And she's been on that medication for a long time now, ever since she was young. And for someone to be on that antidepressant medication for that long, it will have an overall impact on their life. And my girlfriend also takes medications and different things, and she thinks these pills will help her mood and help her diet and all this shit. To a certain extent, yes, those pills do help temporarily. Once the fucking effect of the pill goes off and you're back to normal again, then you want to take another pill to fucking give yourself feel like normal again. And then she kind of wants to give me like shit. Well, actually, she don't give me shit for being dependent on weed because I like to smoke weed, you know, and I don't want to sit there and tell you that I'm dependent on it to feel normal, but I've been thinking about it lately, and it's gotten to that point where, yes, if I don't smoke weed in the morning or even throughout the day, I don't feel right, you know, and I will agree and I will come out and say that, yes, I feel like I am at a point when it comes to weed that I am depending on it to make me feel good or feel normal. But we're not talking about me. We're talking about that again. I'd much rather smoke weed than take chemical pills to make me feel better. And then once the chemical pill wears off, I got to continue to take those chemical pills to make me feel even better. I mean, you could say the same thing about the weed. Sometimes the weed has pesticides in it and shit like that. Depending on where you get it from and all that shit. Whatever. All I'm saying is she is putting herself in my life in such a way where I don't know if I want to continue this shit because we're not on the same level. She wants a key to my place. I don't want to have her a key to my place. There's no reason for her to come and be at my place while I'm not here. She says, oh, the reason why I want a key to the place is so that way I can feel more at home here, and that way I can say I get at your place before you do, with like, and then I can just come upstairs and come lay down and watch TV and all that shit. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, she's given me some things that I didn't ask for. She just like, okay, I'm gonna bring these things over here to make myself feel more comfortable and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. You can do that. I don't care. And then she kind of expected me to do the same, but I don't really have a lot of stuff that I want to take over there and leave over there because well, if I don't have that stuff here, then I got to go over to your house. And it's like, and then she complains to me about me not spending a lot of time over there at her place. And it's just like, well, I don't know what to tell you, you know, like I don't know what to tell you. Maybe we're on two different levels, you know, because she was married for 10 years and she is so desperately like pushing things forward in a relationship to the point where it's like, okay, now that we're living together, now that we're basically coexisting together within each other's lives, we might as well go ahead and get married now. And like, she wants to get married and all this other shit. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, I'm not so sure if I want to fucking be married. I don't know if I even ever in my entire life want to be married to someone legally through the state. And I told her, I was like, I'd be willing to get married as long as it's a mutual marriage of love between two people and not legally through the state on paper. That's what she wants. She wants legally through the state on paper. And I'm like, nah, because your two relationships that didn't work out, you straight up got them for child support. And she is the kind of, she's like, can't get pregnant anymore. And she almost did actually last year. There was like basically a fetus that was starting to grow in her, and she apparently had her tubes tied to the point where she cannot get pregnant no more. But somehow she ended up getting pregnant with me, and it was, and like, for one, we both agreed that even if she could get pregnant, that her having another child would be risky, because her last kid, she had a C-section, and her last kid, she about fucking died in the middle of birth having it. And so it's almost a guaranteed that that's going to happen again if she tries to have another kid, which is why she had her tubes tied the last time. But it didn't work, and she got pregnant, and it ended up being a false pregnancy. It ended up not making it, basically. And then she was super upset about that, because she loves me so much to the point where she wants to have a kid with me and she wants to get married. And I don't want that. I don't want that. I mean, I don't mean to be blunt here, but I don't want that with her because of what had happened in the past. Her attitude towards things and the way that she wants things to be. It's like, I don't want to get with someone who's going to get pregnant and then have a child with me and then be like, well, guess what? We're not working out. I'm breaking up with you. I'm going to get a divorce. I'm going to fucking rape you for child support for the next 18 years, which she did for her previous husbands, which is why it's best for us to break things off. Because ultimately what I want in a relationship is, yes, I do want to get married, and I would be willing to marry someone legally through the state and all that stuff. But it has to be done on a love level. Meaning, and I also want someone who is a little bit younger than me. I know you're probably thinking, oh, of course, you always want the young girls. Well, no, I want someone who is a little bit younger than me. 5 to 10 years preferably, but I know that's probably going to be hard to get someone like that at my age. I'm only 33 years old. This year I'll be 34. Even then, still, I mean, I'm in my 30s, you know, and being 33, 34 years old don't really look good for younger people. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I want to get someone that's a little bit younger than me that has not had their tubes tied, that has not had any alternate ways to, and I don't really care if they already have a kid. They could already have 2 kids. Like, having 4 kids is extreme for me, which is why I'm kind of glad that we're kind of getting to the point where we possibly are going to break up here pretty soon anyway. Because, again, I want my own family. I want my own child, and I want it done the proper way, you know. And that in general, that's one of my life goals. I'm the last member of my family. If my dad's obviously not going to have any more children with his health being bad, and my grandpa's on his way out, and I'm the only male in the family, and I have to carry on my family's last name. And so that's a really heavy weight on my shoulders. And with me being as old as I am, I'm going to have to establish that and have that happen relatively soon, within the next 2 or 3, 4 years. Because if I don't have that happen now within the next 3 or 4 years, then it might not ever happen. And that means I pretty much just screwed my family tree by not passing, my genes on to some other people and creating more kids. I'm still really, really young. I mean, I'm still relatively young. I'm not like 20 young, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of the goals in my life almost seem like unreachable, but they are reachable. I just have to do them in such a way where it makes sense in a logical manner. First step is to get that dispo job, get a better paying job, start making money, and have myself be a little bit more attractive to people, if that makes sense. But yes, so that is the goal. That is what I want to do with my life. I want a family. I want to have my own kid. And I want to be in love with a girl that I love. And I want us to be together forever. And nowadays, it almost seems like that's sort of impossible, to be together with someone for a long, long period of time. Because at some point, you do get tired of that other person. At some point, you do kind of get your fill. And you sort of want to move on to some new things and explore new options. And that goes both ways for males and females. But for me, if I can find that one perfect person that their attitude aligns exactly with mine and their ambitions align with exactly what I want, I think I'd be willing to put the ring on the finger for that person, you know? And that's exactly what it is. That's where I'm at right now. But hey, really appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in to this podcast. It is amazing that we've done an actual hour of talking about random stuff that has happened in my life. But a lot of stuff has happened. I haven't uploaded YouTube for a while, and it's been a grind, man. It's been really bad. A lot of downs have been happening, and I feel like shit because I feel like there's a lot of potential of things that should have and could have been done. Seems like it might not ever happen. And you're probably thinking, well, now what the hell are you talking about? I'm not even going to get into it. But I tell you what I am going to get into. If you guys that have made it this far in the video, you're a real viewer of my channel, and I desperately appreciate that. Well, I don't want to say desperately because that kind of seems like I'm desperate. I'm out here just doing my thing. It is what it is. I really appreciate that is what I'm trying to say. So many people on YouTube say that to their community. Oh, I really, really appreciate it. But honestly, the thanks cannot go any further for those of you that have stayed the whole time. But I'm going to end the video right now. We've done a lot of talking and a lot of shit that we've talked about. And you know what? We're going to move on with our stuff. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm not the Donald Trump. It is what it is. We bombed the fuck out of Iran. Whatever. So yeah. Appreciate ya. And I'll see ya in the next podcast. Thank you.